All right, I guess we're starting with Miss Dameron and Miss Duggan. They have some information from a group that they've been part of, which is wonderful, and they're here to share their experience and some of the good work that they've been doing with some of the students at Guilford High School. So please take it over.
Thank you. Hi, everyone. I'm Miss Duggan. Mrs. Dameron, hi. And we are both the advisors of the Bring to Mind Mental Health Awareness Alliance that is through Guilford High School. And we're going to just share a quick video that one of our officers made. So bear with me. I'm going to share my screen and do all of that fun stuff. Okay.
Hi everyone, my name's Abby. I'm an upcoming senior and I'm the co-founder and upcoming president of the GHS Mental Health Alliance. Throughout the pandemic, me, along with many of my high school peers, were struggling because of all the challenges of social isolation and the constant change due to the pandemic, along with the regular challenges that come with being a high school student, like all the academic stress and social pressures and all of that stuff. So we felt like there was a real need in our community for mental health as a topic to be much less stigmatized than it is right now. So we wanted to create a group where we could have discussions surrounding mental health and cover various mental health issues and make resources within our school and community much more well known for the student body. Though our alliance formed pretty late into this school year, we were super lucky to gain widespread support from the community. Because of this support, we were able to complete a few fundraisers, like selling our mental health themed bracelets and working with Ashley's Ice Cream to create some mental health themed ice cream flavors. We've also been able to place stickers in many of the Guilford High School bathroom stalls. On these stickers are numbers of various helplines. Students can call these helplines if they feel like they need more mental health resources or if they're in a mental health crisis and need support. Finally, we've been able to make resources more readily known for students by creating an Instagram page talking about resources and also creating a page connected to the Guilford High School website with many mental health resources relating to the school and just in our Guilford community in general. The GHS Mental Health Alliance is so excited for next year because we'll be able to plan many more events involving the community, like working with different sports teams, clubs, or people to be able to destigmatize mental health and start the conversations that need to be had. We'll also be able to have in-person meetings, which we're so excited for because we're so tired of Zoom and we're super excited to meet you all and get to know each other better. We'll also be able to engage in more stress relieving activities, like possibly making stress balls or doing a meditation. Meetings might also look like student-led discussions and learning about a different mental illness. As the school year comes to an end and the seniors are graduating, we want you all to be aware of mental health resources that are in our community, even when school is not in session. One major mental health resource we have in Guilford is the Women and Family Life Center, who have licensed counselors and people who can help you find the mental health resources that you need. Another resource for students can be found on the GHS website. Under the Students and Parents tab is a folder called Mental Health Awareness Resources. Here you can find lots of information and links to online resources for mental health help. Thank you all so much for listening to our presentation. We hope you have an amazing summer and stop by some of our meetings next year.
All right, so that's the end of that quick overview of what our alliance is doing or what they intend to do in the future. Ms. McDonald, I know you talked about sharing the website that week, or just your screen, so we can kind of talk about that a little bit.
Sure, absolutely. Give me 1 second
Yeah,
here.
no problem.
So I think Abby was talking a little bit about the mental health awareness section on Guilford High School's website, which you can access right underneath parents and students. And it has resources that are available to students and families. So ongoing crisis counseling support is right on our school's website. We have the 211 mental health services and crisis intervention. That's a statewide program that using a cell phone, you can just click on 21 or type in 211. It's kind of a step down from 911, which is an imminent risk. So 211 is going to give you a emergency mobile psych person on the other line that can kind of talk you through a crisis, or if you're worried about a person that's in crisis, you can call 211. Guilford Youth and Family Services, where Ms. Duggan is housed, has another resources available to students and families. There's a ton of different resources available there through social workers, through programs that they run. And then the GHS Bring Change to Mind organization, which is what Abby was going over in her presentation. There's information on there, as well as contact information for Susanna Dameron, who is on this call, as well as Sarah Duggan. And then this is a breakdown of students' emotions and some things that you can try or use to assess, to access. So if you're feeling anxious, there's a vision board that you can check out and click on the link there. If you're feeling depressed, there's crisis intervention resources. If you're feeling scared, there's another resource, sleep tips, stress, nervous. So these are all the feelings that people may have when they're feeling stressed, and they could be feeling one of them. They could be feeling a little bit of everything, and sometimes they could be positive as well. So excited, energized. We had a few presentations earlier today that students talked about the different feelings of stress, and sometimes they could be positive. And so that could look like energizing, but it can also look like excited, but it could also look like fear. So in understanding your emotions and how those impact you, and some things to sort of channel that energy in a positive way, those are some links to help you with that. And then some other things in terms of picking up some hobbies to help boost your mood. So learning to bake, learning to knit, yoga, fitness routines, gratitude journal, these are all links. Again, this is all available on the Guilford High School website underneath students and parents. And if you scroll down to mental health awareness resources on the bottom link there, you can get to all of that.
Thank you. And I think a main goal of our alliance is to show students that there are support systems around you, and kind of what Ms. McDonald said, just knowing where you can access them. And now that summer is coming, you may be transitioning to college, you may be transitioning to military, you might be just transitioning to not being in school anymore. And so it's important to recognize what sources or what resources or who's out there and what's out there for you guys to access, and maybe even share with your friends. Maybe you don't need it, but somebody else in your life might need them. And this has been a tough year, and I think everyone is trying to find a way to bring everyone together, give them the resources and support that they need. And some might work for some people and some might not. And it's okay if you have to access them. It's not a bad thing either.
Yeah, and I think, again, it's always okay to ask for help, and that's sort of what our alliance is trying to promote.
Mm-hmm. Any questions?
It's good to have these resources available, as we close out the school year next week. Just know that, these resources are always available. These links are always available. The administration is here most of the summer, so they're always a resource as well when our counseling staff is not here. And then obviously Guilford Youth and Family Services is there all summer as well. Well, any questions from the audience about Bring Change to Mind, the Mental Health Awareness Alliance? Any questions for Ms. Duggan? Yes.
Is that yes to me?
Yes, go ahead, Ms.
Uh,
Lazat.
I think we're always trying to find other ways to be able to be supportive. And I know Abby had referenced something about stigma. And what are the things that we can do as a community at large, within the school, within our offices, classrooms, to help destigmatize the idea of mental health. And I guess, I'd really be curious to know from Ms. Duggan and Ms. Dameron what you think we can do, or what the Alliance can do to help demystify that.
It's a good question. I think just, I know it seems kind of bland or just random. I think just actually just having conversations and normalizing the conversation as much. It's not as scary. It's not as intense. It's just, this is a normal day-to-day conversation where it happens. If someone feels this way, you know exactly what to do. It just normalizing it in our systems. And that obviously takes time, and it takes everyone around us to be on it. But I don't know, that's hard too, because there is such a stigma, and I think media and everyone has to be on board too, and you can't make everyone on board.
Yeah, I think it's just important to communicate, that it's okay to ask for help and it's okay to talk about these things. And, the best way to destigmatize it is to continue with communication.
Mm-hmm.
I love that answer. Love it.
I think this is a good step in the right direction for us to be freely talking about this. I know we want to continue to share our thoughts and our ideas. We're recording this presentation, so we're hoping to get this word out even more. And I know that the Bring Change to Mind group wants to continue their work, and they talked about this fall getting together and bringing everyone together again, and hopefully maybe in person. That will certainly help. So awesome. Thank you so much, Ms. Duggan, and thank you so much, Ms. Dameron. We really appreciate your support.
Of course.
Thank you.
Our next presenter is Shayna Grabowski, who's on the call. And Shayna, you can go ahead and turn your camera on and share your screen. Shayna is going to be presenting on social media's effect on mental health. And I think this is a really good segue from the previous presentation. I think social media can take some positive angles, but maybe sometimes some downsides as well. So I know that Shayna has a lot to share today.
Yeah. Hi. First of all, sorry in advance for any background noise.
Okay.
So my presentation is social media's impact on mental health. Oh, my laptop's gonna now freeze. Hold on, sorry. Okay. So the problem with social media is that it's a super not conducive space for mental health. It has a super negative impact on people's mental health as a whole, but it also doesn't have a space for mental health to be talked about. In 2018, a British study was able to tie a lack of good sleep, which can lead to worsening depression, memory loss, and poor academic performance, to the use of social media. Social media tends to have an unrealistic portrayal of life and how people live it on a daily basis, in just its overall presence. And in order to avoid how harmful it is to your mental health, people should attempt to distance themselves from social media and how it affects them. I worked with 3 people and had them each take different varying breaks from social medias to see how it would overall impact them. So person A deleted all social media for 2 weeks from all of their devices. And person A had said that they were struggling with mental issues from the moment they entered high school, and stated that they didn't really feel that social media had a huge impact on their mental health. But by the time week 1 had come to a close, person A had ended up stating, "I feel as if I'm a whole new person. I feel less anxious, I have an easier time sleeping, and overall feel it easier to get my assignments done for school." And by the end of week 2, they were unsure if they wanted to reinstall social media at all. The thoughts from person A at the end of this experiment were that They were a super easy person to work with. They were very passionate about getting rid of social media because they felt like it would help them overall. And they think that everyone should take tiny breaks from social media, whether it's for a few hours or days on end. And their quote from this experiment was to remember to distance. Life is hard enough without these expectations from everyone else. Person B deleted all but TikTok and Snapchat for 1 week. Person B was fully aware that social media had been harmful to them in the past. They had taken breaks before, but only for a few hours and never for really days on end. They recorded feeling overall still overwhelmed most days and had issues focusing. When I asked them to be a part of this agreement, they hesitantly said yes, and they admitted to being worried about not having social media and the effect that taking such a huge break from it would have on them. Then, during one of the days that they had taken social media off of their phone, they had mentioned wanting to take pictures of themselves and talked about part of the reason they feel self-conscious most of the time is because the filters that are pushed on Snapchat change your appearance completely. They stated, yesterday I thought I looked cute and wanted to take pictures for once, so I was able to post them once I had reinstalled Instagram. So I opened Snapchat intending to use a filter to color intensify, hoping it would bring out my eyes, and the first recommended filter was a filter that slimmed my face and made my eyes super blue. I closed the app without even taking pictures. I felt horrible. Thoughts from person B. Person B felt as though they were aware that social media was harmful, but it didn't impact them as a person. This had led to them feeling truly surprised when they looked back after a week and noticed how even just limiting which apps and how long the apps used impacted their life in a positive manner. I'm still working on being my full self, but I'm super happy that I was a part of this because I feel like it made me realize me as a person is someone I wasn't super comfortable with. Then my control group, person C, had no changes. Person C was more than happy to continue living their life the way it was and agreed immediately. They recorded feeling no change, but overall a bit self-conscious and anxious and felt like they couldn't get enough sleep most days. Person C was able to be a part of one of my test audiences for this presentation and saw how the other two people were impacted and said that they wish they had gotten to take a break. They think that in order for us to grow as people, we need to get better and we need breaks from things that push this idea that everyone is perfect. And their quote was, "I know that nothing changed, but something should." So what this means, overall, I'm fully aware that one presentation has no real impact on everyone's mind on social media, but I'm hoping this helps to really bring out the problems with it. I'm also aware that asking teenagers to delete social media completely is like asking them to throw their phone in a bin and live life alone in the woods. But I would suggest that taking a break, not only the research that I collected, but all of the research I did leading up to this project pointed out super harmful characteristics developed from social media, but taking a break, even if it's not because of how harmful social media can be to mental health, lets you de-stress so much better. Things to remember from this presentation. It's okay to feel like you need to take a break. Taking a break does not mean you have to delete social media forever. And most things on social media are fake. People edit themselves. They completely change how they look to fit a stereotype, and you're beautiful just the way you are. Thank you for coming to my capstone. This capstone is something I've held close to my heart this entire year. I believe that the topic is something that everyone should be made aware of. Social media is not the end-all, be-all, although it can feel like that. Sometimes it's so easy to get wrapped up in this concept that society pushes that you need to be perfect. And I've seen people change their entire personality to fit the way that social media dictated teenagers should look, feel, and act. But at the end of the day, if you are not happy and satisfied with yourself, you are not going to feel good enough to make anyone else happy. So the takeaway from this should be that change is okay, change is good, change is necessary, but never completely change yourself for others' enjoyment, because at the end of the day, if you are not happy, then it does not matter how others feel about you because you're not going to feel good about you. This has been my social media project of 2021, and that is my works cited.
Nice job, Shayna. I just want to commend you on behalf of all of us for, I know this is a big risk, what you share. I think we could all say that, you know, probably 99% of us have a social media account. And I appreciate the way that you've described it in terms of kind of a spectrum of, you know, even if it's just a break, it can make a real difference. I know for myself, there's been times that I've just taken the app off my phone just so that I don't use it and don't access it. And that helps to kind of take a break. And I think what you're saying makes a lot of sense. I can't imagine as a high school student going through high school with social media. We didn't have social media when I was in school. So definitely plays a different role. So I really, you know, we all want to commend you for that. Really nice job. Well, we can open it up to questions from the audience now. And I know there's some teachers that have students in their classes, so the teachers can open up the discussion to their classes. We can have people speak directly on Zoom, or they can ask questions in the chat.
Shayna, I just want to commend you too. I've always found myself to be in a better place. I don't have copious amounts of social media like teenagers and adolescents do nowadays. I'm still learning the social media devices that exist, but I know when I take my breaks from my own, or when I see my special people around me taking breaks from their respective social media, the change it makes. So to hear you talking through those case studies, and I'm so happy you actually provided that scientific data of actual case studies that show the impact less social media has on people, really does speak volumes. And again, I'm just so grateful for you taking the time to bring that to us for all of these presentations today. I feel enlightened. I feel inspired to put this into my own daily practices. And I'm very grateful to you and to Ms. Duggan for all of your hard work today. Thank you.
Absolutely. Miss Anastasio said, nice job, very relevant topic.
I also just asked my students in the class if everyone has social media, and everyone does, including myself. So that was not, you know, there wasn't much to go off of that, but I do have a couple students that said they also have taken breaks here and there from social media, and they both kind of agreed that they did feel a difference when they did take that break. So I think it's a super relevant and relatable topic. So that was really good.
Thank you. That's great to hear. Yes, Miss Lazat.
Shayna, and maybe even the students in Miss Anastasia's room, I'm kind of curious about, what do you do when you no longer are taking time to be on social media? Like, what do you find yourself doing when you shut that down? Do you find you engage in different activities? You engage with people around you in person? I don't really know. Like Shayna, did that person A, did they tell you what they did instead of being all over social media?
Well, plot twist, I was actually person A. I took place in my own experiment because I was actually very confused on how it would affect me. I found myself, I read like a ton of books. I talked to people more. I went outside more. I definitely had a more regular sleep schedule. I just found myself really focusing more on connecting to people person to person instead of like posting a status update and being just assuming that that got to everyone. Now everyone knows how I'm doing. It was more of a like person to person. I had a lot more like personal conversations of how are you doing besides just the, oh, I'm good in passing. Like, how are you actually feeling right now? Be honest. And it really impacted my relationships. I feel like a lot of my friends and I have got a lot closer from it. So yeah, also thank you for all of the praise. This was a really hard topic and I'm really glad I did it.
I'm really glad you did it too, because as you're talking about all the things that you did and what I've seen in the chat about some people talking about exercise and you know, talking to other people and getting outside, it brings me back to the other capstones that we've heard from today about how do you stay healthy, and these are exactly the things that people engage in to feel mentally healthy, you know, so, and emotionally okay. So it's really cool.
Absolutely. And there's an honesty to it too. I think, like I said, you took a risk, but there's an honesty to it. I think, like you said, the portrayal of what the unrealistic portrayal of what social media actually looks like and what's reality. And, you asking someone specifically, how are you? How are you really? Because I think it's rare that people will share the downsides on social media. It's more of just what looks good, which is positive and good sometimes, but it's important to share the real stuff. And I think, as we've all found in this pandemic, that the screen time has escalated substantially. And as a result, social media probably has too. And we were already in trouble with social media well before the pandemic, but now even more. So I think paper, pencil, hard copies of things, really make a difference and kind of take us away from that screen and personal conversations. I've also found for myself, just morning rituals. I find myself always grabbing my phone first thing in the morning and trying not to do that, and trying to just, look outside or go for a walk, starting your day right and ending your day right. Absolutely, Shayna, nice job. Miss Kellogg shared, great choice for a capstone project, as so many can benefit from your findings. Please keep sharing and inspiring all of us. Miss Kellogg asked, how would you motivate others to take regular breaks? For Shayna.
I was typing it in the chat, but I can say it out loud. Just remembering that life exists outside of the internet, and as hard as it is to delete that app, to distance yourself and push yourself to really make that change, it is 100% going to benefit you. I have not met a single person who deleted a social media app and said, my life got worse after this. It's going to benefit you, whether you just lock yourself out of the app for a few hours or a couple of days, or you delete it entirely. I know two of my friends who have never had a social media presence, and they don't plan on it. And they are some of the happiest people I've met. And they're not bashing on people who do have social media, but just saying to, be mindful that it is not an end all be all, and your life will continue even if you're not on Twitter for 30 minutes. You'll be okay.
So I'm going to ask you a tough question. Do you think you'll ever add social media ever again for yourself?
I've stayed mostly off of it. I know I went on Facebook just to actually come out a few days ago, but that's just because I can't reach all of my family with a phone call. So that was just a general statement. But I think that social media is, something that obviously is hard to delete because everyone has it, but so unnecessary. And I don't find it super entertaining anymore. I used to be able to zone out and scroll through Twitter or TikTok for hours on end, and I just can't anymore because I'm like, okay, I'm bored. I need something else. I need to do something that's actually challenging me. So school is something I focus on, doing assignments that I'm behind on, or just reading books, things of that nature.
Great. Awesome. Thank you for sharing those alternatives. What's next for you, Shayna? Do you plan to spread more awareness around this? Do you have plans for the summer, or plans for next steps? I know you're graduating in about.
I am. I actually plan on going into early childhood education, so working with kids from kindergarten age up until the end of middle school. And middle school is the time that social media really becomes super prominent in your life. So I'm hoping that obviously I can tell these kids that, you're perfect the way you are. Do not let anyone else impact that. But also don't let people sit there and tell you, oh, you didn't change everything about you. You're never going to be popular on social media. Don't let it control you. Because I've met, young kids that are so impacted by things like TikTok and Instagram that I really think would benefit from not having it. But also it's the same way of putting a plate of candy in front of a 3-year-old. They're going to eat it. You can't not tell kids to not have social media. They're going to. So just giving them resources and giving everyone that, reminder that it's okay to take a break, without them feeling like they have to delete it. Because kids are very spiteful. If you tell them not to have something, they're going to get it.
You already know a lot about your field. Awesome. Absolutely. I think that's fair and that's realistic. Well, thank you so much, Shayna, and thank you everyone who joined. And this was a really nice discussion. I appreciate everyone's questions and feedback. I know Shayna does too. And thank you to Miss Anastasio's class for joining us and for all the feedback from class. Shayna, this is recorded, so I will send you the recording and feel free to spread your word through this recording or any other way that you'd like. And I think you did an amazing job and we're all very proud of you.
Thank you so much for listening.
Absolutely. And for those of you who are interested in joining, we have one more presentation this afternoon. It's going to take place at 1:30. Aaron Patel is going to be sharing about the fitness is the key to a healthy lifestyle. So hope to see you all back, and thanks again.
We have Arian in class right now. He's super excited.
Oh, Aaron, yay. We'll see you at 1:30. Send that Zoom link out. Bye.